Welcome to our English class, Aprender a Estudar em Casa. My name is Alina Sancha and I am your English teacher. The class today is going to be about grammar. It's a little bit different from last class. Do you remember what we saw last class? We were looking at mass media. Today we're going to connect it a little bit, but it's mainly grammar. So what are we learning today? Today we are going to learn the forms and the uses, not only of present perfect simple, but also present perfect continuous. Remember, we have talked about perfect times. What comes to your mind when we talk about perfect times? Remember, we have to use the first thing that comes to our mind has to be the verb have, exactly, because that's the auxiliary we use for the tense perfect. So, let's see this short dialogue I made for you. So after a few months at home, you finally went back to school. And imagine this dialogue. Hi Niels, I haven't seen you for a long time. What have you been doing? Hi Chrysalita, I have been home most of the time, avoiding social contact as much as I can. What about you? The same here. I have been doing chores, watching TV and surfing the net. I am so glad we are back to school. I missed you so much. Me too. See you after class. Bye. Bye. So, if you pay attention to this dialogue, you see that some words are highlighted in red. They are the verb tenses. So, what verb tenses are there? What are these tenses? These tenses are, we have the verb have been and haven't seen. What tense is that? That is, exactly, you know it. It's the present perfect tense. And the other verb that were in red was have been doing. Have been doing. What is the tense? The tense here is present perfect continuous. You remember the word continuous gives you the idea of something that is in progress. You can say continuous or progressive. And whenever you say continuous or progressive, you use ing in the main verb, right? So let's see the forms of present perfect tense. So, present perfect tense, the form, what we have there is we always have the subject plus the auxiliary verb that is in present. It can be have or has according to the subject, plus the past participle of the verbs. Remember a few classes ago we talked about studying the list of the verbs, learning the past participle of the verbs. You have to do it. If you haven't started yet, you are way behind. So start humming it because it's very important. We will use the past participle of the verbs with the auxiliary have to form the present perfect tense. So, as we said, the form is always the subject, the auxiliary, and the past participle of the main verb. So, when do we use present perfect tense? Let's check. let's see a few uses. For actions that have started in the past and continues to the present. An example, The Big Bang Theory has 12 seasons. I have watched 11 seasons so far. What does it mean? It means that in the past, I have started watching it and I haven't finished now. That is the present, right? Another use is to talk about a past action which has visible results in the present. Let's see an example. Since she has subscribed with Netflix, she has gained weight. What is the result that we see is a chubby person now because watching a lot of Netflix. The result is gaining weight and becoming fatter. Another use of present perfect tense is actions that happen in the past, but we don't know the time, or we don't say the time. The time is unstated. Example, her Facebook post has gone viral. Here, the Facebook post has gone viral is what is important. It's not when it became viral, okay? So the important is action, not the time. We have more uses for present perfect tense. For recently completed action, example, they have just binge watched 13 Reasons Why. Do you know what binge watch means? It's time for your dictionary. So check the words that you don't really understand, okay? Another use is for personal experience or changes that have happened. Example, it is the first time I have listened to a podcast. What that means is like I'm talking here about my personal experience with podcasts. I had never heard it before. This is my first time. And another use, we use it with the words today, this morning, this afternoon, so far. But what you have to have in mind is then when you use these words, the period of time hasn't finished yet. We are still in this period of time. For example, he has watched three films this morning. So it's still in the morning, but he has watched already 3 films, which means he woke up very early just to watch films. There are a few words that we use with present perfect tense. And I want you to pay attention on it because whenever you see it, if your classroom teacher gives you sentence to identify the tense, they may help you to find them very easily. Now I'm going to call your attention for something interesting. So, did you know that when you use has gone to, it means that someone has gone to somewhere and then this someone has came back. For example, is still there, sorry. Has gone to means that you have gone somewhere and you are still there. For example, Paula has gone to Portugal, which means Paula is still in Portugal. If you say has or have been to, now is the meaning that you went and you came back, okay? Someone went somewhere but has come back. For example, he has been to Australia twice, which means that every time he went to Australia, he came back to Cape Verde. And another one that I want to show you is has or has been in. So, what does it mean? When you say that someone has been in, it means that this person is staying or living in this place for a certain amount of time. Okay? And the example, she has been in the car since 2015, which means that she has lived there for 5 years. Now, we're going to see the words that I was telling you, the words that show you the verb tenses. So pay attention to them. So, one of them already, another one yet. So the difference between using already and yet is that already is mainly used in affirmative sentences, but yet is used in negative or interrogative sentences. Just used in affirmative sentences, ever, never. Never is interesting because it has a negative meaning, but the verb is always, always in affirmative form. It gives you the length of time. Recently, since tells you when the action started, so far, and these are the words. And now we're going to see the other tense that I told you, that is present perfect continuous. As we saw with present perfect tense, we'll see the form, the uses, and the words connected to them. Okay? So remember, I told you we always, when we have continuous, we have to think about ing in main verb. Don't forget it, it's very important. So what we have here, the form is the subject, then we have the auxiliary verb that is has been or have been, plus the main verb plus ing. So this is the form, and we're going to see the uses. So it gives emphasis or emphasizes the duration of an action. The action starts in the past and goes up to the present. Example, Paul has been watching TV for 5 hours now. So it tells you the duration. 5 hours watching TV. That's a long time, isn't it? Even for Paul. So the second use is action that started in the past, lasted some time, which may or may not have finished, and has left a visible result in the present. So again, we're going to focus on the result in the present, even though we don't know if the time has or hasn't finished. Example, my mom is terrified. She is freaking out. She has been watching a lot of news about COVID-19. What happened is, if you see news all the time and you see that things are spreading, and then you get terrified. So the result for my mom is being terrified because of the action she has been doing, watching lots of news. And the last one, to express anger, irritation, annoyance, or criticism. So, the example we have, who has been using my cell phone? Cell phone is something very personal. Sometimes we have our secrets on our phone, and if people touch it, we get angry, right? So the sentence has been using my cell phone. And what are the words that are connected to present perfect continuous? The words are since. Like present perfect tense, we have since that express the starting point. Okay? We have for that gives you the duration of the action. And we also have how long. How long emphasizes the duration. So these are the words that we use with present perfect continuous. So we have been doing grammar. Now we are going to see grammar in action or in its place. But we don't have time to do it now, so I'm giving you a few exercises to do, and you'll do it, show it to your classroom teacher, and your classroom teacher will go over them with you in class, okay? So I'm showing you the questions, and your classroom teacher is going to give you the material we have here for you to work on. So before reading, we're going to read the email and find examples. The examples have to be of an action that happened in a time that is not stated in the past, and an example of putting emphasis on the duration of an action which started in the past. So exercise A is finding examples in the text. And exercise B is looking for expressions that are used with present perfect and expressions that are used with present perfect continuous. So here is the text. We're not reading it today, but you will read it in your classroom with your teacher. We are coming to an end of our class. So, to summarize, today we saw present perfect tense and present perfect continuous. In present perfect tense, we saw that we use the auxiliary have in present plus the past participle of the main verb. And present perfect continuous, we use auxiliary have, past participle of the verb to be, so have been or has been, plus the main verb plus ing. Continuous is always connected with ing. We have finished our today's class, and I hope you have enjoyed it. So remember to stay home, wash your hands regularly, and keep social distancing. Hope to see you in next class. Bye.